If you want to be more efficient and effective while experiencing more inner peace, then working on the core of your issues instead of putting on a Band-Aid is vital. Welcome to LifePix University podcast. I'm your host, Esty Rapport, and here to help you improve your 28 cognitive functions, the 28 things that make up thinking. In each episode, we'll discuss a real-life challenge, why you might be struggling with it, and give you practical strategies so all areas of your life will improve.
You listen to episode 352, you know the difference between a fixed and growth mindset. But do you still find yourself falling into a fixed mindset? That's okay, because we all got both a fixed and a growth mindset, but we want to reduce the fixed part as much as possible. That's coming up next on the LifePix University podcast, episode 360. But first, screenshot this episode and share it on Instagram stories. Don't forget to tag me at LifePix University so that way I can thank you personally. For today's real life challenge, imagine you decided to start a podcast. Welcome to the club. It's going to be fun until you struggle finding guests or coming up with a name for your podcast or maybe editing. There's going to come a point where you are going to struggle. We all have both a fixed and a growth mindset. Anything that you're good at came about because you had a growth mindset about it. And things that you can't do or think you'll never be able to do is because you have a fixed mindset about it. The question is, what do you do when you find yourself challenged? Do you lean towards the growth mindset attitude or more towards the fixed mindset? Do you give up or do you try to find a way to make it work? By developing your mindset to default to a growth mindset, to have this can-do attitude, to be able to figure it out, you'll be more successful, feel better about yourself, and learn a whole lot more. The very first thing I'm going to say about developing that growth mindset, I think you could guess it, is self-awareness. Recognize, be aware what is happening. When are you falling into a fixed mindset? Once you recognize it and identify the specific problem, you could ask yourself, what's the challenge? Why am I getting frustrated? Frustration, by the way, is a really good sign of a fixed mindset. Don't just say, I don't know how to do this. What part of you can't do this? Where are you struggling? Where are you getting stuck? The better you could identify it, the easier it will be for you to get out of it. Actually, before I go on a rant here, it is a cognitive function of being able to identify a problem. That is not something we're going to talk about now, something we'll talk about in the future, but the better you can pinpoint that specific problem, the faster you'll be able to solve it. Now, before you move on to the next step I'm about to tell you, in real life, when you're practicing this, notice that you're falling into a fixed mindset. You notice what the challenge is. Now, before the next step, you might want to take a break. Do something that's not related to the task that you're doing and reground yourself, and then come back, because the next part is where you're really putting yourself to work. When you're ready, and you've calmed down and you don't have much anger or frustration in you at the moment, begin looking for a strategy to help you solve the problem. Because now that you know exactly what the problem is, it is easier to identify what to look for. What type of strategy do I need? Who can help you? Can you Google it? Is there another way to get to your desired result? Yes, this takes patience. Remember, it's about the process. The more you do it, the more growth mindset will become your default. Now, back to our podcasting example. Something happened and you are starting to think that maybe this podcast won't work. It is so frustrating, you just can't do it. Hey. Stop here. Step number 1, you identified that you are falling into a fixed mindset. Step number 2, you are looking at what is the actual problem here. Why is it getting really frustrated? And maybe instead of just saying, oh, podcasting is so hard, maybe the struggle that you're having right now is downloading the editing app that you are going to use to edit your podcast. So you identified a problem. Next, you are going to take a break, and then you're going to find a solution. Probably YouTube will be super easy to help you. How do I download this app? Or you could ask someone else who has a podcast and ask them for the help. And then you've got it downloaded, and then you could continue. And podcasting isn't so hard. Now, just be aware, you're going to have to do this process more than once in the process of developing your podcast, because you are building your growth mindset. In this episode, we discussed why you want to default to a growth mindset. We learned how to make sure you don't fall into a fixed mindset by using self-awareness, identifying the problem, and coming up with a solution. Your challenge this week is to catch yourself at least one time falling into a fixed mindset and change it using this pattern into a growth mindset. Also, before you go, if you'd like to know whether your mindset for productivity is defaulted to fixed or growth, head over to lifepixuniversity.com/mindset. That's LIFE, like life, PIX, PIX, university.com/mindset. Take the assessment for free, and I'll even give you specific action steps to start really changing it into a growth mindset. Have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next episode.
That's all for this episode of the LifePix University podcast. If you enjoyed it, please share it with 2 of your family and friends so they too can gain from it, and you'll be helping us reach our goal of 1 million downloads by the end of 2025. Have an awesome rest of your day and grow those dendrites.